I'm still awake.
Instability follows hidden decisions.
It started with a late-night text. "Are you asleep?" she asked. He replied calmly, "No, I'm still awake." She confessed she was feeling anxious and needed reassurance. Anxious about what? He typed back. She said life just felt so unstable lately. His response came quickly. Instability follows hidden decisions. That single sentence hung in the air, cold and sharp. It unsettled her. "Are you accusing me of something?" she shot back. He replied, "Accusations are unnecessary when patterns speak for themselves." The three little dots of her typing bubble appeared, disappeared, then appeared again, hovering for much longer than usual. "How was your day?" He gave a brief, emotionless summary. The distance was immediate and palpable. "Why do you seem so different?" she asked, a knot forming in her stomach. "I've stopped protecting illusions," he said. The silence that followed was heavy, crushing. "Do you still trust me?" She typed, her fingers trembling slightly. His answer was a blade. "Trust depends on transparency." She didn't respond. The next day she tried a different tactic, messaging him with forced cheerfulness. He was polite but cold, a chilling contrast that made her deeply uneasy. "Are you angry?" she finally asked. "Anger is a temporary emotion," he replied. "What do you mean by that?" she pressed. "I mean the consequences are already in motion." Her messages became frantic, desperate. "What did you do?" "Tell me what you did." He told her he hadn't done anything dramatic. He had simply stopped covering for her. "You're plotting revenge?" she accused. He responded with a chilling clarity. "Truth only feels like revenge to those who live in lies." She begged him to talk in person. He agreed, choosing a quiet, public cafe. When they met, his calm was the first thing she noticed. It was absolute. He didn't raise his voice, not even once. That unnerving composure made her own hands shake. She launched into a long, rambling explanation filled with excuses and justifications. He listened patiently, without a single interruption, his eyes never leaving hers. When she finally ran out of words, he leaned forward slightly and asked one simple question. "And where is your accountability in all of this?" She had no answer. Then he calmly slid a thin folder across the table. It wasn't a threat, just documents. Facts, records she never knew he had. The color drained from her face as the reality of her situation began to dawn on her. "This will ruin me," she whispered, her voice barely audible. He looked at her, not with anger, but with a profound sense of finality. "You ruined yourself the moment you chose deception." "You're being cruel," she stammered. "Cruelty," he said, his voice even, "is lying to someone and expecting to be forgiven without any consequences." She asked if he hated her. "Hate requires an emotional attachment," he replied, "and I no longer have one to give you." That statement hurt more than any insult he could have thrown. It was a complete erasure of what they once had. "So what happens now?" she asked, her world spinning. "Distance, exposure, and truth," he said, standing up from the table. She finally understood. He was no longer her shield. He was no longer protecting her reputation from the fallout of her own actions. The change was swift. Friends started asking her pointed questions she couldn't answer. Her work environment became strained and uncomfortable. And the man she had betrayed him with? He vanished without a word, the promises he'd made dissolving into thin air. Alone and cornered, she messaged him late one night, her text stained with tears. He replied, but not with the comfort she craved. "I wish you the strength to face your accountability." "Why are you doing this to me?" she pleaded. His final response sealed her fate. "I'm not doing anything to you anymore. I'm doing this for me." She felt the crushing weight of true isolation settle upon her. She was watching her world collapse, and he wasn't lifting a finger to stop it. That feeling of utter helplessness aged her more than years of anger ever could. "Is this punishment?" she asked in a later message. "Punishment implies intent," he wrote back. "This is just consequence." She tried one last time. "Is there any way back?" His answer was quiet and permanent. Some doors don't slam. They just click shut, and they never open again. For the first time, she sent a real apology, one with no excuses, no justifications, just raw regret. He acknowledged it respectfully, but that was all. He didn't reopen the conversation. He didn't offer a path to reconciliation. He simply archived the chat without ceremony. Weeks later, she looked in the mirror and barely recognized the person staring back. It wasn't because he had hurt her. It was because the truth had stripped away every single lie she had built her life upon. He moved forward, steady, unburdened, and free. She remained frozen, trapped in the aftermath of her own choices. And she finally realized that was the real punishment she never ever saw coming. Thanks for watching.